Don't feel self-conscious.
I know, I've got to start the video again because of this dog. We watched Love and Monsters last night. Had Humphrey seen Love and Monsters?
I don't believe so.
Neither do I. We've already established this, and Winnie hadn't either. I'm very fond of Love and Monsters. And that is not to say it's not without its flaws. That's not to say it's not without its flaws. I think that the whole absorbable thing isn't the most enticing of baddies, quite honestly. And I think that Peter Kay is Peter Caleb.
Well, I thought it was Johnny Vegas.
I know you did.
I get the two confused, and I really love Johnny Vegas, and I thought, oh, that wasn't him in that, but it wasn't because it was Peter Kay.
Exactly. And I'm not. Welcome. I've got nothing against Peter Kay. Phoenix Nights, as I have already said moments ago, was a masterpiece.
Classic.
Thank you. But nothing else he's done has particularly bothered me. But yeah, I don't think so. As a Doctor Who story, I think it's got some quite sizable flaws. But, and this is where I was going with this is not a Doctor Who story, really. Everything about it is coded as not a Doctor Who story, and that is part of its charm, quite honestly.
And there's hardly any Doctor in it.
Well, it's the Doctor Light story, but that's, again, part of the genius of it, because in Blink, which again doesn't exist yet, but whatever, Blink's a story about what happens, if the Doctor's not... it's the idea of the Doctor that's fighting the baddies. Turn Left is the story of, well, what would have happened if the Doctor wasn't there? This is a story of what's it like to be somebody on the periphery of the Doctor's adventures? What's it like to be somebody who's swept up on the outer edge of events rather than the characters we normally see? And as a result, this is absolutely good, fabulous fun. I genuinely think it's a wonderful episode. I think Mark Warren is a brilliant choice for Elton.
As I said, the characters are all quite
lovely,
lovable, aren't
absolutely.
I can't remember their names.
No, neither can I. Mr. Skinner, I love Mr. Skinner because he's in Alan Partridge, the good series of Alan Partridge that I really like. Moaning Myrtle, Fliss. Yeah, they make such a lovely little crew, Linda do. And at the heart of it is Mark Warren, and he carries it in that sort of everyman role. And it's absolutely beautiful. And you get Jackie being allowed to be something other than the mother for a bit, and actually being given some decent stuff to work with in relation to showing her character off. It's a really, really lovely tale that is surprisingly sad, but joyous at the same time. And it is a lovely, lovely thing. And in a roundabout sort of way for the second attempt, this is what I want to say. Whilst we pretend in the Whoathon that this is the most recent thing we've seen, there's nothing else, we know that RTD is going to come back and there's going to be a whole RTD2 era. And myself and Paul and John, my boys, were talking on WhatsApp the other day. And the idea was mooted that, perhaps the last season wasn't as amazing as we thought it was, and this, that and the other. And I said, as I strongly believe, that we were a story or two too short in the last season, and each episode seemed 5 minutes too short. And I stand by that. But what's really missing isn't just an episode, it's episodes like this. It's episodes where you can afford to be a little bit more quiet, a little bit more still, that the stakes aren't quite so high. The closest we got was Dot and Bubble, I think, and 73 yards to a certain extent, although that's quite a different kettle of fish. But it was stories like this back in 2005, 2006, when the programme was revived, which allowed, I think, us fans who had been thinking and talking about Doctor Who for all these years, just to go, oh, right, we've gone up a level. Because all of a sudden, the sorts of fan fiction stories where, what if the Doctor doesn't turn up? What if things go backwards? What if this? What if that? Actually, we got to see those stories. And I genuinely think it's that sort of story in the revival that just went to demonstrate just how varied and how expansive a programme Doctor Who can be. Because it's moments like this that make you go, oh, we can do anything here. This is a writer's paradise, because whatever you want to do, you've either got, access to the most iconic, amazing British TV character that's ever been written, or you can not have him there and make a point of that as well. You can whip up all this excitement on the periphery of it, or be right in the heart of it. It's just such a fantastic, furtive thing to be writing within. So, even though I think Love and Monsters I can well see why it would put people off. It wouldn't be the sort of programme they want to watch. I was just so wrapped up in this, young man's story, and I was so entranced by this meander through the lives of the people who don't get, at one scene one enter the TARDIS, but instead just bumble around with their normal, everyday, brilliant lives, and just on the edge of it. I really like Love Monsters. It's a great story. There we go.